Did Panini destroy Select and ruin my $500,000 investment in the process? I've got a lot to say about it in today's Sports Card Investor. My name is Jeff Wilson. By day, I invest in tech companies, and at night, I invest in sports cards. Join me and my team as we help you profit from the hobby we all love. Hello, sports card investors, and welcome to an episode that I wish I did not have to film today. This is a sad story. This is the story of what happened to my favorite product, Select. Select is no longer Select like it used to be. This is a story not just about how this product is being destroyed, but also about how my investment and others' investments into this product may be hurt as a result as well. And I've got some numbers today, some data and information to share with you that's gonna make you wince. It's not fun. So let's start with a couple of things that are a little more fun, a little more happy. First, I want to thank our sponsor, eBay. As you know, eBay is here for the card collectors with the trick for every trade, like advanced tools for price checking with Price Guide Beta within the eBay app, and up to 50% faster listing with Image Scan. Learn how collecting just got smarter at ebay.com/trading hub. And something we can all celebrate, I'm very pleased to announce that our card database in Market Movers has now reached 200,000 cards. It is the largest card database of its type, times like 20 over other tools that are out there. So if you are looking up the price history of sports cards or adding cards to your collection to track them daily, you need to check out Market Movers. Download the new Market Movers app for free in the App Store on your phone, and you can try out the product for free. Just search Market Movers. And I am joined now by one of the creators of that awesome Market Movers product and our VP of Data and Operations here at Sports Card Investor, Teapot. Tyler, welcome to the show.
Hey, Jeff, thanks. I'm very excited to be on the show with you. Not as excited about the topic today that we have to discuss.
And it's a topic near and dear to your heart, just like it's near and dear to my heart, because I know both of us shared a love for Select going back many years. So I did a show on this channel, Teapot, back in January, back at the beginning of January, on January 3rd. I did a show to kick off this year where I talked about how I had put a $500,000 investment in sealed wax from Select from all of the years, from basketball and football, 2012 through 2019. I had bought sealed cases from every single year. And I had stored them all away because I really loved Select as a product. And I felt that there were so many advantages that Select had over Prism. And I felt over time that the value of Select was going to outpace the value of Prism. And there were a lot of different reasons why I presented on that episode why I thought that was the case. First of all, Select had much, much lower print runs than Prism, or at least it used to. And, Select cards, as a result, were much more rare. I love the courtside or the field level in Select and how incredibly rare that was. I like the fact that Select was hobby only because that, in fact, made it Select, something that sadly is no longer the case. And I thought the cards were better visually. I thought the boxes were more fun to rip. Select had a lot going for it rolling into this year, Teapot, and I placed a big bet on it. But a lot has changed since I recorded that video on January 3rd. Panini changed their whole strategy with this product, and in both of our opinions, in not a good way. So I know, Teapot, you have studied the history of Select. You've been a collector of Select for many years. Take us through what has happened and take us back to maybe where Select started, but then the mind-boggling changes that have occurred with this product this year.
Yeah, I mean, essentially what's happened is this kind of reminds me of when teams, franchises, pro sports teams pay a big amount of money to a proven athlete only to get a very different athlete for the rest of their career. I'm thinking of somebody like Albert Pujols, who's one of my favorite players. You know, with the Cardinals, he was one of the best hitters of all time. As soon as he signed with the Angels, he was a completely different athlete. And what we've seen this year with Select is one of the best Panini products of all time for 7 or 8 years, and now effectively a brand new product branded under Select. And so I'll just kind of walk you through, and I'm going to use football. You could do the same thing for football or basketball, both. But I'm going to go back through the history and talk about what the boxes were made up of and what the checklist was comprised of. And you're going to see, and our viewers are going to see, how this product has evolved over the years into what I would call this year a kind of devolution, a de-evolution of a high-end product. So taking us back to 2013 Select Football, we had a 250 card checklist, 100 active veterans, 100 rookies, and 50 retired stars. In that checklist of base cards, there were only 4 parallels. You had the prisms, which we now call silver. You had green prisms, gold, and black. Gold to 10, black to 1. You had 5 insert sets. And per box, you could expect 4 autos, 6 inserts, just 4 parallels, and 84 total cards. So that was 2013 Select. 2012 had Select Basketball. There was no 2012 Select Football. 2014 Select Football, smaller checklist, 200 cards, 100 rookies and 100 veterans, retired and active. 9 parallels. So we went from 4 to 9 different parallels and 5 inserts. And per box, you could expect 2 autos, and then 2 autos are mem. So we start to see this transition from guaranteed auto hits down to autos and memorabilia. Just 4 parallels per box, just 4 rookies per box, and 50 total cards. So small box, low on hits, a lot of veterans and other cards. No Select Football, interestingly, in 2015. It doesn't exist. So unfortunately, your favorite quarterback, Jameis Winston, does not have a Select Football rookie card. And actually, it's okay. That was kind of one of the more underwhelming draft classes. You do have Amari Cooper and Stephon Diggs, and you had Gurley and Melvin Gordon, David Johnson. But a lot of those guys, their values aren't, really keeping up these days. So 2016 Select Football, we start to see some big changes. 300 card checklist, and this is the first year that we see the 3 levels that we know of today. So you have the concourse level, the premier level, and field level in football. 60 cards per box. Rookies in all 3 levels now. So instead of one subset of rookies, you have 100 or you have like 50 rookies in all 3 levels. Much higher hit rate on rookies that way. 2 autos, 1 mem. So no longer 4 autos or a possibility, just 2 autos, 1 mem. They introduced the XRC cards that year. So really exciting. Obviously, I know you really like, and I'm a big fan of the Patrick Mahomes XRC card, huge chase card. 14 parallels, 3 of them numbered. Sorry, that's your hit rate on the box. So you're going to get 14 parallels, 3 of them numbered. Across the 3 levels on the checklist that year, you had 24 total parallels, and you start seeing a lot more different auto and mem kind of checklists within the full product. So it used to be like 1 or 2 rookie checklists for autos and 1 or 2 veterans. They started spreading that out, and so it became 11 different sort of auto memorabilia inserts per product. And you started seeing a lot more sticker autos, no inserts at all in 2016 Select Football, no inserts in 2017 Select Football. So moving to 2017, again, 300 card checklist, 60 cards per box, 2 autos, 1 mem. They started stating the odds at 30 concourse per box, 10 premier level, and 2 field level per box. They kind of gave us those odds. We jumped up to 29 parallels from 24 across the 3 levels, 10 total auto and mem cards, and no inserts again, like I said.
Yeah, and so before you go any further, what's happening here as you hear this kind of year over year, the product, it's obviously starting to get a little bit watered down at this point, but one way that Select, kind of fought off getting watered down, in my opinion, was the fact it did have those 3 levels. And so while you started to see more rookies, more parallels show up in the lower levels, which were kind of the more common cards, you still had the extremely scarce field level in football or the courtside level in basketball. And so that distinction within the product itself kept kind of the chase for those ultra rare high-end cards still alive, and something that, in my opinion, still really maintained Select as an elite product. So anyway, keep going.
No, I mean, that's a great point too. I think, I'm a big fan of photo variations, image variation cards. Topps uses that a lot for baseball. Panini's done it some for basketball and football. And when you look at the levels, especially courtside field level, the 2 per box, it makes it very apparent when you get it that you got a nice hit, even if it's the base rookie card. That Luka courtside card in its base variation is a very expensive and rare card. So,
and very beautiful looking card too. And one of the
correct.
things I've always loved about Select is the design, particularly those courtside or those field level cards. In my opinion, some of the best looking cards that Panini creates.
Yep, that's right. So 2018 is where things start to really accelerate. We know that print runs in general started to go up. Demand went up. We love our manufacturers. I mean, we really do. We love Panini. We love Topps. We love Upper Deck. They have to kind of make strategic business decisions on how to satiate the overall demand as it increases. And obviously they're projecting these products a year or more out, trying to stay in front of that. So I think it's important to note that, but this is when you start to see the products become more spread out. So again, you have the 3 levels in 2018, 60 cards per box, same hit rates on the 3 levels, 2 autos, 1 mem. In the boxes, you're getting 14 parallels, 5 of them numbered. And in total, across the 3 levels, 31 different parallels. This is the introduction of Zebra, the highly polarizing animal prints. Some people love them. Some people don't like them. And then you have 12 different auto and mem cards. And you have the return of inserts. So 4 insert checklists, and actually pretty cool looking inserts. If I say so, if you kind of go and look at them, at least they were really nice looking inserts. 2019 Select Football, again, 300 cards, the 3 levels. Per box, you're getting 15 parallels, 5 numbered, 6 inserts, they stated. They reduced the number of concourse down to 24. So they sort of spread out. And I think you were getting some more hits actually in 2019. 50 different parallels across the 3 levels. So we went from 31, which is at the high end of the achievable, chaseable rainbow, right? Up to 50, which makes it nearly impossible for any collector to get the rainbow of a particular player. You had the introduction of the T-Mall products, as well as the Panini Reward Cosmic Parallels, kind of like the white sparkle packs. You got the Cosmic Parallels. And then we saw Tiger Parallels, which were in Prism the year before, cross over into Select Football in addition to the Zebra. Overall, we went up to 16 different auto and mem sets. And this is when we really started to see more player-worn memorabilia as opposed to game-worn, which is a really big distinction. And a lot of people have very strong opinions about. And then 4 inserts, the same 4 as the year before. Now, this is where we pause.
Right.
And we let that soak in and we kind of go, okay, 2019 was kind of that was like the high point. That was like as far as we would hope it would get.
That was as far as you could push the product without the product starting to really, really get watered down and the value of all of the cards starting to get into question. But I will say, even though you saw that incredible expansion year over year of the number of parallels and the amount of stuff they were, shoving into a box, even though that was the case, Select was still a hobby-only product. And as a result, the print runs still paled in comparison to a product like Prism. In fact, in basketball, the total number of Zion cards graded in Select is about 10% of the total number of Zion cards that are graded from Prism. And if you do a comparison between some of his Select base cards, some of his Prism base cards, et cetera, it's about 10%. Same with Luka, it's a little over 10%. In football, there's a little bit higher percentage that are graded from Select compared to Prism, but it still shows you, okay, these numbers sound big, but as of this point, Select is still considerably more rare than Prism. It's only available in hobby shops. It's not available in retail. And even despite those numbers, that is why I was still super bullish on it. I was still buying sealed cases of it all the time. And then early this year, the news broke that Select was going to go into retail. And that was kind of the first bad sign. The first sign of like, uh-oh. And right when Panini said that, people asked me, because I'd come out with this video a couple of months prior to that announcement being made, and people said, are you worried about your investment in Select? And I said, it could go one of 2 ways. It could either perhaps Select being out in retail will help more people become aware of the product. And so as long as Panini doesn't totally water the product down with a zillion different parallels and all of this stuff, millions of one-of-one cards and whatever, it might be okay. It might be okay because the addition of the product in retail is going to help. But if, because it's now going into retail, Panini's going to print the heck out of this and water the product down with a zillion different parallels, then I'm really worried. Really, really worried about Select and worried about my overall investment in Select, even from prior years, because the impression of Select overall could take a hit. And then what happened?
What happened is that 2020 Select Football now has a 400 card checklist with a new level, club level, that they inserted between premier level and field level. Cool looking card design, I'll give them that. So we saw that introduced. Now you're getting in a box, you're getting 10 silvers. So they stated it, 10 silvers specifically in a hobby box, and 5 other parallels. No disclosure of whether they're numbered or non-numbered. So you're getting 15 parallels, but 10 of them for sure are silvers. There's been some funny things that happen with silvers year over year between Prism and Select. We know that back in 2017, like in Prism, they only had silvers for rookies, right? Then you get into 2018 and there's very few silvers. And then 2019, there's like a ton of silvers. In 2019 Select, there's actually more silver Kyler Murray field levels than there are base field levels, something weird and wonky. So this year you're getting more silvers, and then you're going to get 6 inserts. And now this is where you need to brace yourself, Jeff, because 50 different parallels in 2019 across 3 levels. In 2020, 4 levels, 153 different parallels. 100. So
153 parallels. Just a few years ago, Select had 30 parallels, less than 30 parallels. There were years there where you said it had 4 parallels.
4.
It has 153 different parallels. Did I hear that properly?
That's right. This is the very definition, in my opinion, of too much of a good thing. People love the parallels. Some of them are absolutely beautiful. You can get color matches. This is where it really went crazy. And the problem is, as a collector and as an investor, you want a product to be intuitive. You want to be able to understand it. There needs to be year over year consistency that helps you as you become a more seasoned collector and investor, be able to understand what a parallel is. Oh, it's tricolor. So I know it's not numbered and it's kind of secondary to silver. And okay, I understand that, right? They changed some of that stuff up this year. They made tricolor numbered in past years. They've made these evolutions, but they introduced all these new parallels across all these levels. And this is even crazier. There are 60 non-numbered parallels of this 153. So there are 10 more non-numbered parallels in Select Football this year than there were total parallels in 2019, which we said was at the high end of that product. There are now, so half of these players, this is the other thing, half of these players are rookies. So between the 4 levels, half of them are rookies. And another half of that, half, a quarter, are bona fide superstars in the league. So as you open every pack, it's basically like 3 out of every 4 players that you hit is a stud, is a player that you're not going to be unhappy with. Even if you hit, a lower end rookie, you're still like, whoa, I hit a tie-dye rookie. That's pretty sweet. As you go through box breaks on YouTube, almost every title of Select Football is, wow, loaded product, massive hit, kaboom, 1 of 1, all these things. It's because literally every box is more or less loaded. And where that used to be a really good thing with Hobby Select, because it was a high-end product and it was hobby only, now it's got that retail component, which, like you said, completely dilutes and waters down. And it's not even intuitive which parallels are retail only versus hobby, which ones you should be paying more money for. And so in this set, there's also now 14 different auto and mem sets. And there are 8 inserts instead of 4, instead of 6, there's now 8 inserts. And many of those inserts, if not most of them, and the auto and mem also have many parallels, many different parallels within those checklists. So they used to just do no parallels on inserts or a silver parallel, and that was it. Now there's many. So Joe Burrow has 35 different 1-of-1 cards in Select 2020.
Oh my gosh, 35 different 1-of-1 cards?
1-of-1s, right? So
30, I mean, that is such a paradox. Joe Burrow has 35 different one of ones. That's so like, that's such a paradox. I can't even possibly be right.
Yeah, there's like 5 or 6 different like Nike swoosh slash laundry tag one of ones. Of course, all of them player worn or not from any particular event. But yes, 35, and he has 100 different parallels numbered to 10 or less. So imagine of the, you have, and that's across the inserts, the mem and everything, 100 different cards numbered. So if you hit a gold Joe Burrow, you're going to be doing backflips. You're going to get some of those epic reactions. But I think it's a bit of a mirage. It is not in any way like hitting a gold Joe Burrow in Prism, or in any way now like hitting a gold Joe Burrow in Donruss Optic, or many other products for that matter. So if I'm comparing 2020 Prism football, Joe Burrow has one of one card in the base set. It's the Black Finite. He has 4 auto and memorabilia one of ones, and he has 1 insert one of one. So he has 6 one of ones in Prism, 35 in Select. Now compare that, and this is where we've talked about it, that I referenced the transformation of which Pujols are you getting. We used to get Cardinals Pujols with Select. Now we're getting Angels Dodgers Pujols with Select, where it's more like Chronicles and it's less like Prism. Chronicles, a super fun product to open, a great beginner product, a product where you almost only hit rookie cards. Chronicles football, Jeff, had 28 Joe Burrow one of ones, which is all rookies more or less. Chronicles is almost all rookies with a retail component and mega boxes and everything. So Select now has 7 more Joe Burrow one of ones than Chronicles football does. And just to put this in perspective, this is the part where it doesn't really make sense. A gold Chronicles playoff numbered to 10 of Joe Burrow just recently sold for $100. So people obviously understand this is kind of an entry-level product. There's a lot of golds, there's a lot of one-on-ones, a lot of hits. A gold Joe Burrow field level Select just sold for $6,000, and a premier level sold for $2,000. And there are more of those than there are the Chronicles. There's more of them. So this is where it starts. The product has just become a very different product. And I think, like you, am very concerned about how that impacts the legacy of Select over time. And this is a curveball, frankly, that I think neither you nor I ever would have really seen coming. We think they introduce new products, they create new things. We wouldn't have expected Select to basically become an entirely new product with the same label in this year.
No, I didn't expect this at all. I did not expect this at all. I said very boldly that I thought Select was a better product than Prism, and I thought that the values of Select were going to outpace the value of Prism over time, because that's what I believed back at the beginning of the year based upon my analysis of Select from all of the previous years. I had no idea at that time that Panini was going to turn this into a retail product, but even worse than it becoming a retail product, that they were going to add all of these different variations, all of these different one-of-ones like you just described, because Prism is a retail product. But they have at least done a good job, and they printed more and more Prism every year, more and more Prism, but they have at least done a good job of preserving the value of the low-numbered parallels in Prism. In fact, they've only become more scarce to get every year as more and more of it's printed. And they've actually done a reasonable job as well of preserving Prism Silvers. What they have not done is they have not gone crazy on the print runs of Prism Silvers, to the degree you might think they would. They printed a lot more Prism base cards, but they've actually held Prism Silver somewhat in check. They've held these low-numbered parallels in check. So they've helped preserve Prism, even though they're printing more and more of it. They didn't do that with Select. As you said, they took the opposite approach. And it like literally, I'm dying inside for you to now compare Select to Chronicles and for you to put Select on the level of Chronicles. This is like playground stuff. Like, this has gone from, in my opinion, a serious investor product in years past, a good investment opportunity in years past, to like, cards that kids, like to rip on the playground. I mean, it's like, come on, Panini, how did this happen with Select? How did this happen? And look, I get the fact that there is incredible demand in the market. And so Panini has a very challenging job where they have to figure out, how do we make more of our products, because there's so much market demand, without messing up the fact that there's people like you and I and tons of people watching this show that actually want to invest in this stuff and want to preserve the value of this stuff for the long run. They've been able to navigate it for the most part, I think, with other products. They've not navigated it at all with Select. It's almost, as you said, like they made the strategic decision that we're going to totally change this product and sacrifice it into the lower end so that, we can just sell a ton of it, kind of like they've done with Chronicles and some other products. It's really upsetting. It's really upsetting personally because it was my favorite product. Now, basketball, the new Select basketball has just come out. It too is in retail. And I have to imagine, Teapot, that it too has suffered a similar fate. Is that accurate?
Yeah. And that, I just want to kind of to piggyback on what you just said. This to me would be like if National Treasures or Flawless from one year to the next suddenly became more like absolute memorabilia or plates and patches or that's like you take this high end premium product and turn it into something lower end, right? And just to clarify on that too, Select football is $1,100 a box right now for a hobby box. Prism is $900 for Prism football, and Chronicles is $600. But that's out of whack too. Like I really wouldn't be going down that path with Select. There's no reason. It's a short-term thing where people see it as hits galore. As these pop counts grow and people realize there's a billion different Joe Burrow golds, those are going to come down in value over time. I'm really staying away from this. Just to compare also, I think it's really important to talk about the number of products in the marketplace. In 2013, Panini had 18 different Panini football products that they released. In 2020, they had 44 different Panini football products. So you have more products too. So you're spreading out. So it's so difficult, even if Joe Burrow becomes Peyton Manning, even if Joe Burrow becomes Aaron Rodgers, it's going to be really hard for these cards to hold value over time because there's so many different ones. And now even the previously higher end products are much lower. To segue into basketball, pretty much the same exact story as football, right? 43 different one-of-ones across the entire checklist. I didn't do the count to see exactly how many LaMelo has or Anthony Edwards, but it's probably around 33 or something like that, right? That's across all the different cards. 240 different parallels.
200, did you say 240?
Across base cards, inserts, and auto and mem. So I totaled it all up, right? All the inserts. And worth noting, we are adding, as new products come out, we are really focusing in Market Movers on getting all of these into the tool. So we just added in that checklist for all of these so that that's available when you search on chart other cards. And we also just added in all the key rookies and veterans in every parallel and every grade for the 3 levels, which is ironically, they did not bring club level over to basketball. I'm not sure where the decision was to do that in football and not basketball. Again, a little bit of confusion within the product, but I'm not unhappy about that. But yes, 240 different parallels across all the inserts and base cards and everything. And like you said, both cards have a retail offering this year. Retail Select basketball has not come out yet. There's also the first off the line. There was a team all football this year. There's no word on a team all basketball yet. I hope that's not coming out because that would probably mean new parallels that they haven't published out yet to the checklists. And you also have hybrid Select football and basketball, which is a little bit confusing too, because they call it fast break and no huddle when it's in Prism. And then they just call it hybrid in both for Select. So the animal print craze continues in basketball. We saw zebra back in 2018. We've seen tiger. Last year, we saw peacock in Mosaic. We saw snakeskin in Prism Draft. This year, we have zebra, tiger, elephant skin, which is new, snakeskin parallels, and Select Baseball this year just got the giraffe parallel. So we're going on a Select Safari.
Zoo? What's going on, Panini? Are you opening a damn zoo? What?
We're on a Select Safari.
Why are we doing this?
Yeah, we're on a Select Safari. So
you're going to be able to now, instead of going for the rainbow, because that's absolutely impossible to get the rainbow with 200 parallels of this product, Now people are going to go after the Safari. That's the new rainbow in the year 2021. Goodness gracious.
Now, and what's really, I think, kind of challenging here as an investor is that if you bought into base PSA 10s, base graded cards from Select, or silver tricolor parallel scope, which is one of my favorites from previous years. So from 2018, 2017, even the base cards, very low population counts in PSA 10.
Super rare.
Now they're going to be off the charts, crazy high. And I worry about what that does retroactively to previous years' base cards, where people go, oh, I don't want a base Lamar Jackson Select rookie card. That's garbage because I know base is totally, overprinted, but it really wasn't back then. And just to put that in perspective, and you basically said this earlier too, 2018 Select basketball has 26,000 total graded cards. 2018 Prism basketball has 234,000 graded cards, almost 10 times as many, like you said.
Yeah.
I would bet money that if PSA reopens and everything, you're going to have as many or more Select graded cards from football and basketball this year than you do Prism. So that messes with your ability to really be able to survey the historical landscape of a product and equate players, comparable players, right? And that's why in some of my recent videos on our Market Movers channel too, I've talked about investment traps with current products and just what to be aware of. It doesn't mean stay entirely away from the new guys. It just means the landscape is evolving. The manufacturers are making different decisions, and you have to really be informed and knowledgeable about that if you're going to start buying cards, because it won't make a lot of sense. And if people get burned too much, that's a big risk to the overall industry and to the hobby as a whole, in my opinion.
Yeah. And, for me, that's the $500,000 question, because I bought $500,000 in sealed cases from previous years of Select. And so now the question becomes so both of us have made it clear we're not investing in 2020, 2021 Select. Football, basketball, not doing it. In fact, as you said, there's actually probably more value right now in investing in Prism than there is investing in Select, which is the opposite of how I felt all of the previous years. But the $500,000 question is, how will all of this crazy overprinting of Select this year affect the value of previous years? Will the perception, which will be an incorrect perception, but will the perception be, as you said, that all of those base cards from previous years and Select in general from previous years are not as valuable because it's so common now, these days? And again, that would be an unfair perception. But the market is driven by perception. And if that's the perception that people take on, then that's going to be the reality of what Select from previous years is worth. And sitting on $500,000 worth of cases of Select, I'm scared. I'm scared about this. I'm scared about this happening and about how Panini has handled the product this year, because I worry that it might water down the value of previous years. And we don't have enough data right now to know for sure, because as you said, the market hasn't even really caught up with the facts yet with how much Select was actually made this year. But, looking at a couple of data points that I have, like if I go back and look, for example, at Patrick Mahomes, since the day that Select football came out this year, it started going to retail and all that kind of stuff in early April. If I go back and look at Patrick Mahomes, his 2017 Prism silver rookie card in PSA 10, which was actually his base rookie card in 2017, because all of the rookie quarterbacks in Prism, they actually were all just silvers by default. That card's down 14% from April. His 2017 Select Premier level in PSA 10, it's down 23%. If we look at Lamar Jackson or Josh Allen, it's a very similar story, where his Prism base card in PSA 10, for example, with Josh Allen down 13% since April. His Concourse in PSA 10 from Select down 20% from April. Is it, these are only a few data points. Is that enough to start to hit the panic button? I don't know, but I don't like that. Has there been some devaluing of those cards compared to their Prism counterparts because of some of what's happening this year? And is it only going to get worse as more and more people realize how many Select variations and one-of-ones and gold number to 10 and all of this nonsense there is in this year's product?
This potentially, in my opinion, shifts some of the attention back to Donruss Optic as well. Now, Optic has had a retail offering for the last few years, but Optic can be much more brutal with hobby boxes. You do not get as many hits. There are not as many parallels. And a lot of people like Optic. A lot of people like Optic more than they like Prism and Select. It's kind of a different product. It's more of like a Topps Chrome type product, right? I'll be curious to see, and I really kind of keeping my fingers crossed that Optic's not the next one up to get, completely blown wide open. We really need we need the different tiers of products. We need it for the hobby to be healthy. We need them to be clearly, delineated with value, with hits, and somehow they're kind of all becoming a bit too commingled and even totally distorted from what they used to be. I will say, I do think there's some historical precedents for you not to have too much concern, especially with those early years of Select, because it's so short supply. There's enough people out there who still realize the pop run, the pop counts were low, the print runs were low. They had some really cool, looking cards from those sets early on, just like Prism. I know Parker were here, he'd be talking about how high he is on those early year Select inserts and parallels of those. If you go back and look at like first year Topps Chrome, right? First year Topps Chrome 1996 was not the best looking year of Topps Chrome. You had the hulking issue, you had all kinds of problems, and it was really brutal on hits. That product still, because of its historical importance, carries a ton of value. And we saw the same thing happen with Topps Chrome all the way up until now, that it became a totally different product. So the early years, I think, are safe. 2013, 14, 15, even 16 to some extent. I worry about the last few years because they very quickly accelerated into this effectively brand new product with Select. So I guess time will tell. And the thing that concerns me too is this was such a big change. It seems like it would be really hard for Panini even to say, next year, let's kind of hit an undo button and maybe pump the brakes. It's kind of like the floodgates are open. The product has sold. What's next for Select in the years to come? I don't know.
Well, I got my fingers crossed. I would love to hear what those of you watching this video have to say. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Teapot, this has not been the best conversation today, but it's an important one to have with the audience, and I certainly appreciate you joining and providing all this knowledge and insight. It's been a pleasure, and I know you produce these types of videos every single week on our Market Movers YouTube channel. So those of you out there who have not subscribed and you want to hear more from Teapot, this level of depth and analysis, subscribe to the Market Movers YouTube channel to get videos every week. Any parting thoughts here, Teapot?
Nope. I might snag a few Select for my PC at some point when the value comes probably crashing down in the next few years. But otherwise, just looking forward to seeing what's next with the hobby, and I'm looking forward to Optic coming out. It should be releasing soon. So
maybe you're right. Maybe Optic suddenly becomes the play and becomes the sneaky, undervalued little brother of Prism. Select used to be in that seat. Doesn't seem like it's there anymore, but maybe Optic deserves a little more attention. I like that suggestion. All right, well, I appreciate it, Teapot. Everybody, thanks for watching. Hit that subscribe button and that little bell icon if you haven't already, so we can keep bringing you episodes like this. And check out Market Movers now with over 200,000 cards, including the complete lineup of all of those ridiculous Select parallels. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you back again soon with our next episode.